program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. I'm a certified naturopathic practitioner, and I am excited to bring more information that helps you on this journey we call life. So if somebody invited you to this program, remember they are your friend. They're the person that cared most about you. So make sure that you get back with them. They are your number one point of contact if you have questions about things that are offered here on our program. As we are a resource for an amazing community, we want to make sure that those who are referred by somebody in our community actually get back with that person and let them know what they liked best about today's program. And if there is no one to thank, you found us on your own and you have questions, you can do a couple different things. You can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com, as this program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, or you can call the call team, 855-949-3377. Again, that's 855-949-3377. Well, today is going to be one of those conversations that you don't just listen to, you're actually going to feel it, folks, because so many people right now are searching for answers, for relief, for clarity and reality, and most of all, hope. Our guest today is someone who brings exactly that as she helps people through all different transitions of life, and that is Ms. Keeley Bendik. She just doesn't have a passion for health and healing. She is deeply committed to helping people reconnect with what their bodies are truly capable of when given the right support, the right nutrients, and the right understanding. Now, she's coming from the point of being a whirlwind in the boardroom, folks. So hold on, as we are going to be taking a conversation that you never know where it's going to go, but it's going to be truth and it's going to be powerful. So thank you so much, Keeley, for being here with us today. I know you are just, you're amazing, my friend. And the fact that you do so much, you have such a big heart, and you are truly helping people through every different type of journey in life. So share with us what's on your heart today when it comes to going through journey that maybe nobody even thinks about going.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me today. It's always a privilege to be with all of you. When we were planning for this, we just sort of like threw it out and said, hey, talk about a little bit of the system and process that you put people through. And it really depends on who they are and what their particular issue is. I call it the journey of discovery. And that discovery is really appreciating what is happening in their life presently. And depending on how they come to me, because they've come to me for a lot of different reasons, because I'm an advocate that basically covers life and faith coaching, business coaching, all the way through every threshold, every change of your life. So it's really meeting people where they are and helping them to discover and answer 5 questions. And usually it's about, who am I? Where am I going? How am I going to get there? What's missing? And what's my vision for a life worth living and or a life. I said,
Uh-oh.
because bottom line is people crossroads of their life and they are at having different milestones. So hopefully they come to me, especially given the fact that we're here, given Dr. Wallach's, science and comparative pathology and the gift that he was given to give to this world. I'm looking to give people whatever they want and or they need to meet them where they are, wherever those milestones are. Hopefully it's before they get them into a cycle that basically proceeds to the end of their life.
Absolutely. Now, you had made a comment where you work with people as, a faith coach, a health coach, as end of life coach. I mean, you coach on so many different levels, including business, and you take that information of analysis and strategic planning from your career of many years in a boardroom, turning businesses around from bankruptcy to profit. And now you're doing it with individuals in their health and wellness, which is just absolutely incredible, Keeley, what you've done, how you are building an amazing team of individuals who have a similar mindset with some amazing results in their own health. So let's dig a little deeper into whenever you are working with somebody and they're getting these great results, how you continue to follow up with them and then work with referrals based on their results.
It really depends where they're at. I try to spend a lot of time getting to know who they are and what they want. We are not selling. I am not selling a product. I'm selling a lifestyle. And when we take people from what was to what is to what will be, they think that that journey is going to be easy. But from a change perspective, really what you're doing is you're going from what was to what is, okay, to what will be. And the resistance is in the what will be, because they don't recognize that, I can take products and nutrients and minerals, etc. But bottom line is, why am I doing it? And the question really becomes, what brings them to that reality? What is the moment of awakening which gets you to a threshold? Hopefully it's not dis-ease. Hopefully it's not that they're sick. Hopefully it's that they have an awareness of what they want to do. But if not, and they have, chosen a path where they have to recover, then it's really finding out what their wants, needs, and expectations are in order to help them figure out what to change. So I actually do a whole life assessment on them. And I've just brought a lot of my change work from, I'm a Gestalt grad. So we take the body process. We're dealing with the mind, the will, and the spirit. You are a spirit that resides in this body. You have a mind, will, and emotion, and I address every level of that within them. So let's say they have a particular issue, it's congestive heart failure. They have that congestive heart failure. I look at their diet. I'm looking at what they eat. I'm looking at what's in their cupboard. I have them take photos of their pantry, their refrigerator, the junk in the cupboard. I do an eating out assessment of what they eat. I do also ask them questions about their preferences. What gags them, believe it or not, because people have texture issues. I take a look at the additives and the fillers, and then I tie that back to the deficiencies in the body. And that I also will do some food mapping, not the food mapping that you had taught this last week, but I actually look at what they are eating, why they are eating what they are eating, and start challenging them on that lifestyle path. And what I realized is it's not enough to give them the nutrients. It's not enough to give them an answer For me, I educate them in order to get them to take steps. I call them, stepping stones, to take the stepping stones so that they can live the life that they want to live, recognizing they're in transition and it's not perfection. It's one choice, one change. That choice has a consequences. Make it consciously, not unconsciously, so that you can live authentically and you can live truthfully. And part of that is actually asking them questions. So, because we lie to ourselves, we deceive ourselves.
Right.
A little bit of this isn't going to matter. Well, maybe it won't. But can you stop at a little bit of this? That was the whole premise of what, Lay's potato chip. You can't stop with just one, or was that the other one? Oh, I just named a name. But bottom line is, it's about the transformation and taking the steps with them. And I've had a lot of great joy doing that.
Well, I love the passion that you bring to this and joy. Because in so many cases, people have lost hope and their joy and their desire to thrive, thinking that they're at the end and there's nothing else they can do. So when you have somebody that's there, but they are open to listening to something else, or even considering that there could be another destination that doesn't hurt as bad, what are your, how do you approach that? I mean, you talked about looking at their diet, their eating out log, what's in their cupboards, why they eat different things, which, I mean, the why could be, one, that's the way they were raised. Two, because of, like you said, the gag preference. You used a different term, but what is your next step when you've got somebody that is willing to make those changes?
Well, it's sort of interesting. There's an old quote and it says, change is never painful. Only the resistance to change is painful. So I really look at what their resistance is. It's like, well, why are you making those choices? Well, I don't cook. I'm single. I'm divorced. I'm going through these stresses of life. So I take a look and say, okay, well, what can you do? Because what happens is that, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to be truthful with yourself? Are you willing to be honest with yourself? Are you willing to be accountable with yourself? Because if you can't be your word to yourself, the rest of it doesn't matter. And so it's like basically taking them through whatever that resistance is and actually brainstorming with them and saying, okay, well, what if only, what about? Because what happens is we get stuck, in these particular crossroads, and we don't know what to do. And there's an old saying that, if to know and not to do is to not to know. So you have to make the assumption that they can't get themselves out of that, because we're creatures of habit. So it's a matter of, how can we brainstorm to get them outside of, and actually ask themselves the question, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to try it? I have a guy, I love this guy, his name's Barry. He was a sugarholic. We get him on, he had prostate issues, he had heart issues, he had joint issues. All we did was change his diet. I did not do any protocol until we changed his diet. I said, let me go shopping with you. So I didn't physically go. He zoomed me in to the grocery store, and he said, well, this is the cereal I like, Captain Crunch. I said, 17 grams of sugar. I said, let's look for a comparison. So then I realized I had to give them a comparative view. And when I understood that I had to take them from what was to what will be, the conversation was what is. And it was sort of, we grocery shopped. Then what happens is he would shoot me a picture and say, well, this is what he changed his diet. And in the first 30 days before a protocol, he took off 9 pounds. Was the doc say, the diet will take care of, 40% of it, and you can't nutrify a bad diet. It's true. So then after that, he's like, oh my God, that was simple. Okay. Not for everybody. It was simple. He was encouraged. And I said, okay, here's the protocol that I would recommend, based on doc's research and scientific, findings. And I said, are you agreeable and willing to try this? And he's like, my body hurts. Yes. So then he was willing to take that next step. He would call, he would text me and say, I had a birthday party. Can I have a piece of cake? I said, make a conscious choice, recognizing there's an impact. I said, if you want a piece of cake, don't eat the whole cake. Eat a slice. This isn't perfection. This is taking a step in the direction that makes you feel like you're being honest and authentic with yourself. And it changed his life, changed his life. He rebuilt his knees, rebuilt the cartilage. He's a ref today at 79 years of age on pickleball with senior citizens. So he's back to doing what he loved to do at the same level that he did before. He no longer has any heart issues. He had prostate cancer, and all of that is over and done with. And he's back into the normal ranges, and the medical community doesn't know how that happened. That to me was worth every moment and every second that I spent in order to educate him so that he could make the choices to change the life and live the life that he wanted to live.
You know, you had made a term that we don't hear, and that's an issueaholic. An issueaholic, folks. People with so many different issues. So I was one. You were one. Well, and that's it. We can be, but we realize the effects of going back to what we used to do and where we were, and how it could easily be that story again.
I've just found that if I don't answer what they're struggling with, they don't succeed. I don't succeed, you know, because I'm looking at this as I want them to recognize, you know, this is a lifetime maintenance issue. There's no going back. We got ourselves here. We got a ticket in the door to this journey of recover and renewal. And now the question is, what are we going to do? Because we have a gift to give. We've got a purpose to live on purpose. And we can't do that, you know, living with a spirit in a body that is broken and not going to take us to where we need to go. And, you know, we have the answers, but it can't be just a nutrient. Not for me, not for my clients. It can't be just a protocol. You know, the recipes are key. People love their bread. Okay. I've been showing them how much glyphosate in their bread. I've been showing them what that does and drives the deficiencies in their body as an experiment. I do these things as an experiment because I'm learning as I go. You can't learn, you know, when I look at their level of resistance or whatever they're struggling with. It's been my struggle in the past. Sometimes it still is. If I can get over mine and I can teach that to somebody else, they can get over theirs. That they need to know, how do I make bread? What are the recipes? What are my other options that I could have? And they're not going to necessarily go and find it in a book. I mean, I've got Doc's, you know, book right here for his recipes. They need short, quick, simple things to do. You know, like take bananas and a couple eggs, you know, or whatever, and you put in some Greek yogurt and spin that up and then put it in your stove for 350 for 15 minutes. Oh, throw some blueberries in it and you got, you know, a protein muffin. They need simple things with less than 5 ingredients in order to give them and empower them to do something different. So I really see it about inspiring them and empowering them to take full advocacy for themselves, because when they do that, they are powerful. They will not fall to the allopathic medical system. They won't, because they have the confidence of what they have to do to maintain themselves unless it's a critical situation.
Full advocacy of yourself, folks. You are empowered to do that. It's not easy, like she said. And that's one of the benefits of working with a coach who does focus on more than just supplements. If we're told to not do something without giving a reason why I should not do it, I'm going to want it more. But when I understand what it is that I want to choose to make changes, then it is easier. So
One of the,
I am.
Go ahead. One of the challenges I have right now is people are having pill fatigue. And I'm sure all of us have experienced, that. So I'm like, okay, well, tell me what's going on for you. Tell me what's working, what isn't working, what you're doing, and what you would like to change. And that's really an opportunity of a different kind, because all of a sudden they're like, huh, you mean there's something else I could do? There's something else I could try. So after I have them on the foundational protocol, and we've, repaired and renewed and recovered, then it's a matter of, I think I want to detox. Okay, well, how do I do that? But I don't want to do it with pills. Is there some other way that I can do it? It provides a whole different opportunity to do something different. And that's when I find that they're really open to trying a lot of the different products, and they'll say, well, I used to eat this chocolate, but I don't have it anymore. Boom. It's like, well, I'm looking for something in creatine, or I'm looking for, a protein powder. Do you have anything in comparison to what they're already using? So a lot of them are using different, competitors, if you want to call them that, different companies' products. And then I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you're using. Tell me why you're using that. And then let me do a comparison for you. So at that particular time, I'm running my grandkids all the time. So I'm sitting in the car, I'll run a comparison for them and I'll send it. And I'm like, well, why don't you try it? So a lot of times, if they're close, I will make the shake and I'll take it over. If they're not, and they don't want to buy something that costs $55 to $65, then what happens is I will try to get one of the sachets if it happens to be a different part of the protocol, like your BTT 1.0, 2.0, 2.5. I will give them the sample, I mix it up myself, and I'll take it to them, or I will mail it to them so that they can try it and follow up on them. That is one of the ways that I have learned to leverage, clients and create an interest for them, because they don't want to invest in something before they know what it's going to taste like. And I can appreciate that, because I'm sort of the same way. I want a trial package. I want something that's got, 5 assortments of, if you have 5 flavors, give me one of every 5 flavor, or give me, 10 meals. But I don't want 30 meals. I just want to try it because I might not like it. And I've thrown a lot of stuff away of a lot of different competitors because of that. And I'm just not into it anymore. I'd rather spend it on something that works.
So creating your own sample packs.
Yes, but not just giving it to give it. It has to be with an intention. It has to be something that they want or they need, because I've had other people that have taken it and it sat on the counter, and the last time I went, it was still there. So there has to be a want, need, or an expectation from either my side or their side. I have a dear friend who, she's in love with the medical system. Hopefully she's not watching. You name it, she's there
still
for
love
it.
her.
Yes, I do. I love her dearly. It's there's a lot of challenges there, but it's beside the point. The only opening that I have had is doing that, is hearing what she's saying, and keeping the stuff on my person, in my purse. And then when she goes, I shake it up and give it to her. Try this. I got her in the bag. It's sort of like you meet them for lunch and you listen to what they're saying. And I always take my little sandwich bag with my pills in it, with my capsules and everything. And what are you doing? I'm doing this before I eat. Well, why? Well, what do you care? I'm evasive. I'm very evasive. I don't sell anybody before I hear what's going on. Because when was the last time you wanted anybody to tell you something you weren't ready to hear? Somebody does that to me. Yeah, they do that to me with my personality. Slam dunk. I'm not interested. As a matter of fact, sort of like talk to the hand because the ears aren't listening. It's like walking into a store, a furniture store, to buy something, and they're right on you. Okay, I'm just here to look. I get annoyed. I am not a window shopper. I know what I want. I go out and look for it. People have to have a level of awakening. They have to be at that threshold. We're trying to sell them on a concept and a lifestyle without even them being at that threshold. You'll never sell them. You will repel them.
Yeah.
So I just keep that in the front of my awareness because I don't like it when it happens to me. So I try to give them the same gift that I try to give them what I want. And as I give them what I want, it seems to be reciprocal. And it works.
Well, as I'm looking at the participants that we have on with us, there's a lot of coaches. So I hope you guys are listening, taking notes. Because one thing that you said is you do not sell them what they need until you know what the need is. And that's where we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Where we need to
understand. Seek first to understand before being understood. We don't buy things from people we don't trust. We are influencers. We can be an influencer, or we can be, I don't know if I want to say a nag, but that's sort of how I see a lot of people that walk up to my front door, knock on, and want to sell me something. I'm like, first of all, if I didn't call you, I don't want to talk to you.
So, a solicitor.
Okay. I mean, it's sort of like, what are you doing at my front door, and why do you think that I want or I need this? And I mean, I know they're just doing their job, and I have a lot of empathy for that. But the truth is that if I don't have an awakening about it, you know, what am I sick and tired of being sick and tired of, especially with what we have? We have a solution if somebody wants to live optimally. We have the protocols that are proven. I have watched miracles happen. I've experienced them in my own family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that we love the most, we want to save. We can't save anyone. They save themselves when they have a level of awareness that what they are doing is not working. The question is that if you don't love yourself, if you don't value yourself, if you don't think you're more, are you going to invest in something different and opens your mind, your will, and your emotions to do something that will move you forward? Or do you just not know what to do? So I see that as the opportunity. It's the crossroads of, how can I influence them? What do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to change, modify, or improve in order to meet them where they are, so that then I have a relationship built on trust, because I will prove everything to them. I said, well, let me send you an article on that. You know, you're sort of struggling with what the options are, or all the protocols that the medical system, you know, may address for you. Somebody ends up with the big C. I give them every test they're going to go through, every deficiency that it basically creates, every modality. I walk them through the process. And then when I'm like, you know, there are other alternatives. Are you interested in them? Now, what's frustrating about that? Takes time, takes intention. You have to be deliberate. But, you know, do you want a customer for a one-time sale? Or do you want an individual who's going to live this way and maintain for a lifetime? So for me, yeah, it's a harder, longer sale. And yes, you will get frustrated, but that's their will you're frustrated against. I've just come to the conclusion that they're not ready. And I always tell them, it's not a matter of if you're going to need me. It's a matter of when you're going to need me. But I'm here on the sideline. If you want to go around the mountain, you want to suffer a little bit more, I'm good with that. I'll sit and I'll watch. But don't call me when you get into, you know, what I call the spiral, because we might not be able to manage you all the way back out, because then you're basically chronic and critical. We'd like to do it while you're in this middle zone.
Absolutely. And you had mentioned that we're influencers. Absolutely, we're influencers. And when you're sending an article, I mean, you've been listening to them, they've been sharing, you know, their whole issue-holic list. Do you ask their permission? Say, hey, can I send you an article on that? How do you preface sending them an article?
I never give them anything that I don't agree to beforehand. because I don't want to be seen as pushy. Again, it's about meeting people where they are. I
Mhm.
already know where I am, and I can be very, very complex and anal retentive. Okay, we all know that.
Oh.
It's just me. Yeah. I'll do the deep dive and then I'll mull over it for forever and, and then come out with something. But the normal person just, it's sort of like when kids come to you, you have children, you only answer the question they ask. Why is that? Because their attention span's about this long and they only care about, so mom, tell me, what about the birds and the bees? What do you want to know about the birds and the bees? You don't answer any other questions. So I look at all we are is children in adult bodies. We're
Mhm.
just children in adult bodies. We're looking for whatever is next, and we don't know where to go. So if we can provide whatever they're looking for and ask them, I quantify it and qualify it. I heard you say, this is a particular issue for you. Are you interested in learning about this? Are you looking for just the answer, or are you looking to actually learn about it? Because I'm not want to make a recommendation for you unless you actually understand what is happening in your body, how you're contributing to it, how you can take responsibility and be accountable to change it. But first of all, we have to talk about, do you believe that the body can heal itself? And I
Mhm.
go there because there are paradigms, their belief system gets in the way, the lies and the deceptions that we have bought into based on what we've seen, experienced, and been taught, and they don't serve us. So then I sort of get into their head, and say, okay, this is what I heard you say. Are you ready, for some
Mhm.
information that you may find very informative? I also preface it with, this will be a break with. What do you mean about that? This is a paradigm changer. This is what was in the past. What if you could live optimally? What if you could repair and restore your body? What if everything that you believed up until now is not really true? And if they bite, we go. And if they don't, I surrender it.
Yeah. So is that what if? And are you interested in learning? Is that what you said? Are you interested in learning more about that?
Yeah. And it's if what's the definition of insanity? Do what you've always done, get what you've always gotten. Okay, if only you were open, who would you be without this story? Because a lot of times you will hear individuals, they identify with whatever the dis-ease is. So if you hear terms like my pancreatic whatever, my gastroenteritis, my arthritis, my
They're
C.
labels that they have
Yes,
accepted.
if they bought the belief, they bought the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, depending, they say with the mind can't deal with the body manifests. The body's giving us signals all of the time. We don't hear them. We ignore them. They come in little signals until they take us out. But the whole point is, what do you want to do with it? People have an identity based on what they're experiencing. That's what you're experiencing. That's not who you are. You're more powerful than anything. So if we can get the mindset right, if we can get a seed, pull the weeds and plant a couple seeds, for seeing things differently, then what happens is it's sort of like that's part of the education process before, they go full in. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but when you work really hard on those clients, okay, and you escape for a long period of time per se, just changing protocols, adding products, yada yada, that you seeded into them, that you educated them, you gave the gift of your knowledge to them so they could go out and live the way that they wanted to live. That is success to me. They're healed, recovered, restored, living their life fully. And yeah, some of them come with us and some of us don't. Doesn't matter. They're back doing what they're supposed to do. But when they don't,
Mm-hmm.
they're settling for less than what they were actually supposed to live. The good Lord says, choose life or choose death, choose life. Well, what kind of life are you choosing? And
Right.
that's a hard question for individuals who've been really invested in what they know and what they don't know. And especially when you come to the allopathic medical system, I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're just sick and had a heart attack. I don't care what the situation, a stroke, whatever. If you don't have and don't know what the options are, you simply don't know. So you do the only thing that you
Mhm.
need to know. The question is, are we willing to take our area of influence and our area of control, step out of ourselves, listen to who they are, build a relationship based on trust, and leverage everything that we know in order to teach?
Yeah. And that's leverage what we know in order to teach. I absolutely love that. I love it. So we've got Olga commenting. She says she'll be listening to this again for sure. We have Charmaine saying she's here on the Zoom with us. They take ownership of it, saying my this or that. So you are helping them to release ownership by saying, what if this is possible? Are there any key words that you use when they're really having a hard time of releasing that ownership? And folks, what I mean by ownership is like, well, I have blood sugar issues, or for most people, they know it as diabetes, or I have a bad heart, or I have memory issues. Those are things that you are taking ownership of. And what we're saying today is, what if things don't have to be that way?
I think we've made the assumption, because we've lived this long, we believe our
Mhm.
eyes. And I always tell people, close your eyes and listen to what somebody says, and you can hear what they're not saying. Sometimes the silence is so deaf, it's just so numbing that, it's alarming, because silence can mean so many things as well. But it's like you have to question their assumptions. People will say,
Mhm.
I should, and this is sort of a clinical thing. When you hear should, must, or ought to, you should do this, you must do this, well, you ought to do this, I am doing this. I am is a different statement. It's telling you that there is a belief that is entrenched for a reason. You just don't know why. Well, why is it you would believe that? So that's a whole different level of questioning. But when you hear them say should, must, or ought to, it's a belief that they have. It's an intrinsic, it's called introspection, but they're holding on to it. I have people question their assumptions. So why is it you believe that? How is it that you came to understand that? And because you're dealing with the resistance. Who would you be without that story? Who would you be without diabetes? Who would you be without being 150 pounds overweight? Who would you be, if we changed your diet and you no longer had, the psoriasis or whatever it was? And it's using words that create a compelling picture that gets them outside of the box that they put their mind in, because it's just a matter of habit. It's a matter of rote. One of the things that the good book says is to renew your mind and renew it daily. That's because we get stuck inside of, and we narrow our own influence based on what we choose not to do. So it's really stepping outside of yourself. If you have to ask yourself these questions first, because you can't give what you don't have. If you don't
Right?
have this conceptual understanding and aren't able to put it into practice, you can't give it away. So I always say, I don't ask anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do myself. And believe me, I moan and groan the entire way. But there's so much to be learned from it, because you cannot be teacher without being learner. It's a reciprocal relationship. And you will learn more about yourself in dealing with somebody who's, you just want to choke them because you know that you can help them and they want you to help them. But what is that about? That's me trying to impose my will on somebody else who isn't ready. I just need to recognize they're just not ready. That's why you can talk to anybody anywhere, because it's not about you. It's about them. We have some answers. We have real, legitimate, scientifically based protocols that we know can save lives and can give people, I'm going to cry, I think, can give people the quality of life for as long as they choose to have it, if only they would take it. But sometimes it's
Yeah,
a lot of work to get them there.
absolutely. There's kind of a joke, if you can't teach. That's not what this is about, folks. We're leading, we're living it, we're leading it, and teaching it.
You know,
So I
you asked me a question earlier I don't think I really answered. I guess to navigate the journey, I think it comes down to three things. People are at crossroads, and those crossroads are their choices. Um, the milestones are the progress that they can make over time, and the thresholds are the transformation point. So if we can get them to a crossroad where they can make a different choice, then we can take them along the path which allows them to have progress and hit those milestones, and then they have totally transformed. It just doesn't happen overnight by taking one product. It takes
no,
by nurturing and nutrifying your mind, your will, your emotions, and this God-given vessel of a body that needs to be sustained by stuff that we can no longer get out of the ground. And if we would just go back to what God's intention was, and that is to nurture thyself based on what he provided us with, think about everything that we would surrender and release.
yeah,
We would be living the way that we were supposed to live, and we could achieve those 120 years that Dr. Wallach always talks about.
absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, lots of powerful stuff here. So, folks, if you're a coach or you are somebody that is interested in the what if, make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you and say, hey, currently there's some issues going on. I want to know that what if and how it is to live without these issues. Because if you're willing to make the changes, it is absolutely possible. Well, Keeley, we have some hands that are up, some questions that are coming in. And let's start with Mary. Mary, what question are you bringing in today?
Hey, Becca. Hey, Keely. Doing an excellent job as expected. Um, two questions. One is, have you had people say, no, not now, or I just don't think this is for me, but come back later and want to talk more? So that's one question.
Okay.
And then the second question is, have you had people say, hey, lady, I just want to replace my one-a-day vitamin. Do you have any vitamins that I can use or some coffee? I don't need all of this detail here. I just want to buy a product. Those are the two questions.
So I'll start with the second one first. Yes. And I look at them and I basically say, well, I could sell you something, but bottom line is, I said, it's not really going to make a difference, because then I go into fractionated nutrition and cofactoring. And I actually have created a couple handouts for that, because I've done some pictures on it as well, because people don't understand. We were raised on one a day. So the assumption, what's the assumption? Our assumption is we take one a day, it will take care of everything. Oh, well, that's why people do piece in part, because the allopathic medical system taught us, well, if you have this, I'm going to give you this. And then if you have this, I'm going to give you this. That's not how it works. So it forces a different kind of education and a conversation. And they're like, well, in that case, I don't know what to do then. Then it becomes an opening. On the first question, yes, they do come back, usually groveling. Usually there's something wrong and they're looking for an answer and seeking. 9 times out of 10, they want to compare whatever, we have to whatever they have. And I'll find out what they're presently taking. Tell me what's going on and what you're presently taking and why you're taking it. And then when I get those answers, I sort of pivot, because I'm trying to get them to that crossroad. I'm trying to get them to where, they will commit to either being further educated and or commit to the next step, which would be a health evaluation, an assessment, or whatever. If they're not willing to commit the time, I don't want to sell them the product, to be perfectly honest. I really don't. Do I? I've done it. Yes. Does it work? Not past a 1, 2, 3 times sale. So I did it to prove it to myself. And then I had to decide if I was going to, you know, belly down to the bar and do what I needed to do and put in the time.
Got it. Got it. Well, I'm going to add one more question in there since you mentioned the health evaluation. Do you walk them through that yourself since you are more personable with your process, or do you send them something to fill out, or what's your process for the evaluation?
Great question. I do not allow my clients to take the assessment by themselves. I do not. I have them, I commit 45 minutes to them, do an intro. In 30 minutes, I do the assessment. I'm asking them qualifying and quantifying questions as I go through it intentionally. And I do that for a couple reasons. I'm building a relationship with them at the same time. I'm getting to really know them. They're starting to trust the efficacy of what I have to share. And it's a time that you can't make up anywhere else. Yeah. It's also an hour of your life you're not going to get back. So I'm investing that in them to see if they're willing to invest in themselves. If they're willing to take that journey, I'm willing to do it with them. If they aren't willing to invest in themselves and they don't value themselves at that level, I'm out.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Becca,
dear.
back to you.
Thank you, Mary. And I love how if they're not willing to invest in themselves, then you've got to take and look at what's the value of your time, right? Because we cannot take it back.
I facilitate a process called the touchstones process, and we are lights along the path. Sometimes we're not lights for everybody. We're just not. So the lights are still along the path. They just have to decide whether or not they want to go sit under one. And so I take a look at that way, and I'm like, well, you want to help everyone based on what we know. I mean, what we've been given to support the human body is unlike anything else that's out there. Because if it was, we would have found it. And this was the answer. There's been too many miracles that I've been a part of to know that this isn't it, which is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about, Dr. Wallach's science and all of the findings. There's just nothing like it. Don't screw with it. Leave it the way it is. And it changes lives. It gives people hope. It allows them to create a compelling picture in a life that they imagined that they always wanted to live. It's a serious business. Life and death depends on a lot of those protocols. We can't run out of them. We can't buy out of stock on them. They have to be present and accounted for. I'll give you an example. I've got a couple clients who have PSTD. They have schizophrenia. They are dependent. Once they went from where they were to where they are, they're no longer on psychotropics. They're living their lives. They've got jobs again. They're taking their protocols and it works. That is a miracle in their life after having PSTD, being in the service, being on 5 different psychotropics, and now having a job and starting to date and rebuilding their entire life, just not their physical body. It rebuilt their mind and then their will to live. It's just a gift that keeps on giving. And we have the pleasure and the privilege to be able to be a part of that mission in order to do the same. And I could not be more honored to be with all of you doing and taking that journey.
There is purpose in what we do. A lot of gratification in what we do. I couldn't think of doing anything else.
Agreed.
I just, you know, I've had so many different careers, been in so many different places, even make some really good money, but there is nothing more gratifying than helping somebody overcome something they thought that they were going to have to suffer with for life.
They get to dream again.
Yes.
They get to live fully. They can go out into the world and they can live their purpose in meaning and be vital until the day the good Lord calls them home. And I just don't know anything that can beat that.
No. And in my story, it started with me being able to dream again, being able to live without the restrictions that I had for so long.
Well, and in dreaming, you created that destiny now, didn't you?
Yes, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So we're able to be the light along that path to spark that, faith. And it really is about faith, hope, and love. You got to love these people enough because sometimes they don't have the self-love of themselves to treasure themselves. When you have 52-year-olds who basically have given up, who are in bed, well, this is just the way it is. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine being 100 and thinking that, it's like, there's no hope. Well, we've got hope, but faith is you have to step out before the road appears. That's a whole journey of surrender. And, so what's it going to take, to get people to dial in to say, what if only it is possible and it is probable. And, we have a lot of what can help you get there.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Now we've got another hand and we've got Nancy asking a question. Other than writing them off, what do you have any tools that have been successful in overcoming the prejudice of MLM products? Now, for me, it's not MLM. They were life-saving. So I don't dwell on that. What is your response to that?
People use labels in order to, they put a label like multi-level marketing, on this business in order to it's a form of resistance so that they don't have to accept it. When I look at individuals like that, it's like, you're right. This is one particular structure that you might not be a part of. But the question is, are you willing to negate that for the products that can save your life? I'm willing to go deep in, because it doesn't really matter where they come from. And you can buy them off of Amazon and they suck. Pardon that word, but bottom line is, you never know what you're getting. So at least you know what you're getting and you're buying the vision and the mission here. There is no comparison. There is no comparison. I challenge you to go find another product that addresses the fact that we need 66% of our consumption a day needs minerals. Go find one. You're not going to find it. I've searched high and low, in order to prove it to myself, because somebody asked me the question and I needed to have the answer, so,
right.
And I don't really give up on people. I let them go. I go back to, Jesus at the well said, pick up your bed and, go sin no more. He didn't spend a lot of time trying to convince you. Gave you the opportunity, created the level of awareness. You either accepted it or you didn't. There's a personal responsibility here. And that is you cannot, life law, who is it? I think it's Dr. Phil. First life law is you either get it or you don't. And the second one is you can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. If you're not willing to acknowledge it, you're just not ready. Just not ready.
Right.
So, it's a matter of time. I wasn't ready. What I did 30 years ago is not what I've done now. As a matter of fact, I didn't even come to Dr. Wallach for myself. I came to it for my husband and my father. When I saw what happened there, I started to take it because I was trying to, funnel everything to them, because money was an issue, or whatever. You're spending, quite a bit of money for the issues that they had. They started to recover. I took a deep dive before I knew what I was going to do. It was like, I'm crazy. What the heck's wrong with me? I've got some of these problems. I don't have them anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
My prayers were answered in this product. So you either want it or you don't. And if you don't, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's a choice. It's absolute choice. We provide the information and education that they can make the choice. So, well, we have AJ with his hand up, and then I would like to close. I know.
Oh no.
Then I'd like to close with one of your favorite quotes by Marianne Williamson.
Oh, one of my favorites.
AJ.
Be kind.
Excellent, Keeley. No, I was just going to comment when they made the comment, how do you deal with people talking about it? It's an MLM. The bottom line is it's a network marketing company. And, the difference would be you could buy it from a corporation that will squeeze every penny out of the product to increase profit for the shareholder, or you could buy it from a network marketing company who shares the profits with the folks who actually do the footwork and the grunt work to sell the product, and that person could potentially be you. So
it's interesting that you say that, but we'll go buy off of an influencer off of Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. We'll go buy it off. We won't question the fact that things are coming from the pharmaceutical industry and it's going to poison us, or we will buy it off of Amazon and not question the quality of it. So, if people really ask themselves some definitive questions, and the answer's in the question, it's just they're not willing to look at the information.
Absolutely. And great job as usual.
No, thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right. So we've got more questions coming in. Do you have a hard stop?
No, I'm good. No grandbabies today.
Okay. Well, Olga commented, people listen, then ask questions, and then bring an identical lunch to mine. So she is being an influencer. Very, very good, Olga, over in the UK. And she also says, yes, disease is not yours and doesn't need to stay. So true. Anne here on Zoom with us says, kick the dust off your sandals and be on your way. Patty would like you to speak again to addressing why our products are the best. There's so much out there.
Oh, that's a deep one.
We could have a show just in that.
Yeah, we could have a show just on that. When you take a look at the protocols that Doc put together, they are based on his research, his philosophy, okay, all of the principles that he has come up with over all of his studies, but most importantly, scientific findings based on his comparative pathology, comparing 454 species to the human. And because it's based on pathology, all of those deficiencies identified what those diseases were. There's no question here. He understood the percentages of minerals, vitamins, amino acids, and essential fatty acids that the body needs per 100 pounds. And he was able to put together protocols that address that will restore, renew, and allow the body to recover. I know of no other products that will do that. I have watched people go from having the big C to being absolutely where they need to be, healthy, I said, and out of the doctors for 2 years. I've watched individuals that have congestive heart failure who are absolutely living and breathing after having a pig valve put into them. And she's 79 years old. I've watched type 1 diabetics recover and have to take in less insulin because of changing their lifestyle and adhering to Doc's protocols. It's not a question anymore. It's a given. The science proves it out. And now you're hearing, 50 years later, Doc always said it would take 50 years before anybody would get a grip of what he's done. He is the foundation. He understood and made it simple for us. He didn't want us to have to know all the ins and outs and details. He delivered the goods in order to address creating an optimal lifestyle. And I know of no other company that has these products based on that science, and it can achieve that. And all you have to do is pay attention to the minerals. You need 2/3 minerals, 66% on a daily basis per 100 pounds, and you're getting it. Go look for just that issue in any other product, and I guarantee you, you will not find it. So that's why Doc Wallach, all of those products stand on his foundation and his background.
Agreed. And Bruce says, Keeley is a great speaker. Hope to see you back soon. What
Thank
an
you.
awesome influencer. I agree. Nancy has her hand up. Nancy, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say too, even if you found all the products, they need a combination. If one of them doesn't have, that means you would have to also put together the combination to get each product to work properly. So like if you need, I don't know which one, this will probably be a bad example, but if you need vitamin C to get the, I don't know, another mineral or a vitamin to work, you can't, they're all pieced together in all of them. That's why there's 2 amino acids, so that they can be absorbed by the body. They have this second nutrients that that particular element needs.
It goes back to cofactoring and goes back to fragmentation or the fractionated nutrition, you know. And the other thing is, I don't call these vitamins or whatever. These are the essential nutrients. They are nutrients that our body needs, period, exclamation point. And if we don't get them, or if we have a percentage of them or not, we know that the body cannot do what it does. And actually, it can go off and create other problems if it doesn't have that balance. I think that Brett shares, I can't remember what the total is, but if somebody went out and took all of that 90 and priced it, I think at one time it was like pretty close to over $400. So think about it. You know, you can start a start pack, you know, for $146, you know, to 213 or whatever it is, you know, depending on what protocol you're on. You know, you can do it for a lot less than that as well, you know, depending on what your choices are and whether or not you need the secret sauces. But the options are endless based on what your body needs to recover. And we're fortunate enough to have a place that they provide that based on doc science.
Based on doc science and those cofactors, having everything each nutrient needs to be able to be utilized within the body in a form that our bodies can actually break down and absorb. I just,
He's
you know,
brilliant.
being a vitaminaholic in my previous years, trying to figure out what was, you know, what was going to fix what was wrong with me, because the doctors couldn't find it and just wanted to do more and more pharmaceuticals that were making me sicker and sicker. It was within weeks that I knew I had found my answer when I started on Dr. Wallach's program. It was fast. I mean, I felt a difference within the first couple of days. But then whenever I wasn't in pain, in 2 weeks, realized I don't have a migraine that I had been living with almost every single day since I was 8. That was just, it was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, folks, thank you so much. And again, I want to close with one of Keeley's favorite quotes. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest to the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates us. Marianne Williamson. That's just fantastic. So much truth in that. So powerful. And when I saw that, I've seen it on your about your favorite quotes.
Yeah.
I just absolutely, I refer back to it more than once or twice. So it is wonderful. AJ, did I see your hand up again? No? All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. And today, an amazing guest talking, more to the coaches and how we can be a better service to them, not at telling them what they need, but hearing them out and letting them choose, actually know that they have a choice. Albert, I see your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Keeley, thanks a lot. You're an inspiration to all of us, and for those whoever more are going to watch this show. Well done.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And you might as well
And
stay up
mostly
here, Albert.
bless you.
We could get the rest of the coaches up here. Thank you, thank you. I am so thankful for each and every one of these individuals. Albert joining us from South Africa as he's helping to let people in. We have Phyllis, one of the pioneers in Dr. Wallach's mission to save the world, not just animals, not just humans, but the world. Thank you so much, Phyllis, and helping to get Dr. Wallach on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, which is where I first heard about Dr. Wallach. And thank you, Marilyn, as she's doing an amazing job doing dictation, putting it into the chat that's only available here. Phyllis is actually doing quite a bit too. She's also out on the different platforms watching for questions and doing some commenting. Thank you so much, Phyllis. And we have Mary, who is also keeping an eye on everything that's going on, bringing questions in. Thank you so much, Mary, as she is one of our newest members of our Zoom team here. We greatly appreciate her professionalism that she brings to the team. Thank you, Mary. And we have Ruth Ellen, who is my executive production manager, helping to make sure everything stays just the way it's supposed to be and rolling and smooth and putting the Zoom with the graphics out onto the different platforms. Thank you so much, Ruth Ellen. And we have AJ, who has been instrumental not only in getting us out on all these different platforms, but also teaching us how to do it. So thank you so much, AJ. And thank you to the team for being here, their dedication in wanting to make sure that everybody is able to have a resource that they can refer to. So, and we do want to give a shout out to Dr. Wallach. I actually had Tom Danhauser from the Coast to Coast with George Norrie reach out to me yesterday wanting to know how Doc is. So I reached out to the Wallachs and had an amazing report. So Michelle says, Dad is doing great. Just had dinner with him on Friday and breakfast with him on Sunday. He is fully retired, so sadly he's not available for George Norrie or Daily with Doc, but he's quite happy and healthy and loves his schedule and life. So I was very pleased to hear that report myself, as he has been so influential to so many individuals, millions of individuals around the world. Keeley, thank you so much for being very authentic and very much a purist in Dr. Wallach's recommendations and mission. We greatly appreciate you as you are not only teaching us how to help others, but an approach when they're ready to be approached. So thank you, Keeley, for all that you do and contribute to the Daily with Doc and Becca show.
You're welcome. Now we don't have an excuse for not blazing a trail.
That's right. No excuse.
Talk on it.
No excuse.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here with us on Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. And again, as a certified naturopathic practitioner, which Dr. Wallach pushed me to be, I'm so thankful for that, as we have put together this resource to help so many. And I just hope that you also are able to share this program and help others in your journey and find your journey. If you're looking for somebody to join with you on this journey, or you want to be part of something bigger than yourself, again, reach out to the person that shared this program with you. If there is no one to thank, feel free to give our team a call at 855-949-3377. That's 855-949-3377. Or you may email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. You've just invested over an hour into yourself. Spread the love. Until next time. Oh, tomorrow is Saturday. We don't have a show, but we'll see you next Wednesday. We are here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Almost every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 12 to 1 Pacific time, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, 3 to 4 Eastern. And if you'd like to join us live, zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Make sure that you are signed in to your Zoom account, which is free, and register. And then the next time you come back, you should be able to come back in unless you're on the restricted list. So hopefully you're not. But anyways, have a great day, everybody. Until next time. Bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician.